Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm bringing you just a short video on tips and tricks that I do throughout my daily life. As many of you guys know, I'm a sufferer of GERD and especially regurgitation issues, which I'm going on to 4 years now, even after 2 surgeries. The first one was my knee and the other one was the LINX procedure. So here goes. For the first tip, instead of, what I used to do before was eat 2 meals per day. Now I switched it up to 3 meals per day. I usually have a very disciplined schedule when it comes to my eating habits and when it comes to my eating schedule, right? So for example, my daily routine I will eat, let's say, breakfast around 8 or 9, right? After that, I wait around 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours, depending on how much I ate earlier that morning, and I will eat around 1 or 2. Then my dinner will be around 6:30, 7. Right? So not too many hours between meals, but it seems that my body reacts better to that, and I feel better throughout the day when I eat smaller portions throughout the day. And why is that so important, especially for someone that has suffered from GERD and regurgitation issues, and someone who has suffered from all these gas and bloating? Well, I'm gonna give you from 0 to 100%, right? So let's say 100% is fullness, as full as you get when you stuff yourself and you're just like, oh, I ate so much I can't move type deal, right? So for me, I try to avoid that when I eat those 3 meals, and try to eat from 75 to 80% of fullness. Leave that 20% for either the gas that I feel in my body or for that discomfort that you might feel for getting full, for reaching that 100%. So for me, I always try to get to like that 70, that 75, 80% level of fullness. And it seems sometimes easy to do, but it's really not, because there's time where I'm like, man, I'm hungry, I can eat some more. But I've learned to discipline myself and tell my mind and tell myself, I'm about to eat again in around 4 hours, and I'm going to be just as hungry. And the reason I eat around 4 hours is because I know my body digests food within 3 hours. So within 3 hours, my body digests around 90% of my food that I've eaten. How do I know this? I've gotten tested before. Especially when you're a GERD sufferer, they tell you to do all these testings done, and one of them is the gastric emptying study, right, that you do. And I know the time that it takes for my body and my food to digest, right? So that's become very helpful, and it seems simple, but you got to be very disciplined when it comes to eating 3 times a day and eating at a certain time and at a certain hour, right? So if you guys are suffering from GERDs and you seem to, not do very well, take that into consideration. Maybe that'll help you, especially, when you're taking those steps and those measures. A second tip that I would say that I would do daily is eat my food and chew my food very well. And it seems like a simple thing to do, and it seems basic, but just think about when you're very hungry and you're starving and you have the food right in front of you. Most people tend not to chew their food very well and just stuff that food down. And when I say most people, that used to be me for sure, all the time. And this is where this second tip correlates with the first one. Since I know that I'm going to be eating in around 3 to 4 hours, then I tend to take my time. I usually take around 15 to 20 minutes to eat my food. I take my time, I chew it very well, and at the point where I'm eating around 3 to 4 hours, I'm hungry, but I'm not starving, So I take my time and I discipline myself, chew your food very well. And the more you think about it, the more it becomes it just seems more natural to do, to chew your food very well and remember that. And I know sometimes it's very hard, especially when you're around family and everybody's talking, but for me, I let them know and let them understand, like, I need to chew my food very well. So if you want to speak to me, I'll talk, I'll do any, some head movements and like, yeah, you're right, like, hey, short, small talk because I gotta chew my food really well. Because I know throughout the day I will feel better, and most of my family members do understand that. And I just let them know, hey, look, if you want to talk, let's just talk after I eat. Just give me some time, just let me eat real quick, right? And it seems to be simple to do, but if you really notice and actually note it down, how often and how fast you tend to eat when you're very hungry, you'll notice that, dang, I need to eat slower, and see how much that benefits you. For me, in my case, that benefits me a lot, especially when I'm regurgitating the food, that I'm not regurgitating those chunks of food, and it sometimes it just hurts, right? And I seem to be more uncomfortable. So chewing your food very well, taking your time to eat around 15 to 20 minutes will help you a lot. And like I said, you have to be very disciplined for this, and I promise it'll make you feel much better. And if not, I feel like your body will take it better because it seems to be a lighter workload throughout the day. For another trick that I do, I would say this is more of a trick for me that works. For example, let's say if you're eating a very heavy meal, let's say if you're eating steak or something, right? I usually don't eat a lot of steak just because it's very hard to chew, and it takes me a lot to chew it to the point where I feel comfortable in swallowing it. But if I do, I make sure it's a little bit. But I will leave the steak at the beginning of the meal. I wouldn't say I will leave it, but I will eat it at the beginning of the meal because it's the heaviest thing. So let's say if I'm eating, some sort of steak and some, I don't know, mac and cheese and green beans and, mashed potatoes, something like that. I don't know. But your sides, I usually leave my sides for the end, right? Because they seem to be lighter. So if I were to eat my steak first and then my mac and cheese and then and my green beans, then I will be regurgitating the softer things, the smaller things, the things are not as heavy, and that seems to work for me. And this is including desserts, right? So before I'm finished with my meal, I if I go to a restaurant, I will get a dessert, especially if it's like a cake or something, or something that seems to be kind of heavy. Then I would try to eat it before my mac and cheese and my green beans, and then I'll eat my green beans at the end, because then I'll be regurgitating those green beans and mac and cheese at the end. And this is just an example. This is not what I eat, every day or something. But when it comes to just in general, even if it was chicken, I will eat the chicken first, right? Eat the heavier things first, and then leave the rest, the soft things, for last. That seems to be working for me very well. And my body's gotten used to that, and it makes me feel decent every time I eat. It makes me feel all right, and I proceed with my day. And another thing that I would say that would follow that, my liquid or my drink, whatever I have, I try to eat that until the end. Save that till the end. I usually take like a sip or two to water my esophagus down, and even between the meals, I would between bites, I do drink a little bit, but it's just a little bit to water your esophagus down and make your food go down, right? But this is the importance of chewing your food very well and taking your time to eat, so then you won't feel like you're choking all the time, and you will have to keep putting that liquid, whatever liquid you're drinking on, all the way down to your stomach. So I leave that towards the end, and to be honest, when I go out, typically to a restaurant or something, I would probably drink half of whatever I'm drinking, and that's it. In total. At the end, I'm feeling already like very full. I wouldn't want to drink so much, so I just drink that to make the rest of my food and wash it down with my liquid. So that's what I do, and it seems to be good for me, and it seems to benefit me. So these were just like tips and tricks that just seem to benefit me a lot throughout the day. I do this on a daily basis whenever I'm eating. I like to think that I'm, very disciplined when it comes to my food, especially when I'm very sensitive with my gastro issues and my chest issues, and I know how my body takes food and certain types of food, right? So even including all those videos, of course, avoiding all the trigger foods comes with it as well. So hopefully that helps you guys. And to be honest, I left out all like the other extra things that I do throughout the day, because these are not it. This is just regarding my food and like my daily intake of food. You know, I didn't decide to add anything today, such as slippery elm, which I almost take every day as well before I go to sleep. I'm probably gonna make another video regarding those things, and hopefully it helps me out. Hopefully it helps you guys out as well in your daily fight and daily battles with GERD symptoms, regurgitation, or acid reflux. So thank you guys for watching. It's a small, quick video. Hopefully it helps you. And if you have anything that would help me, any suggestions that can help me throughout the day, I will gladly take them. I appreciate you guys always keeping up with me. And thank you, share and like for anyone that's, you know, suffering from this, any family member or friend. And if they have any questions on my videos, or if you guys have any questions, always comment on my videos. I always reply back. And I like learning from people. I'm a, I like to consider myself a student, especially with this things going on. I like to, I almost have a PhD in all this that's going on with me. So thank you guys for watching. You guys have a blessed one.